how do I even start this video off? I mean, it's just such an overwhelming topic, but let's try and just dissect it. What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, and I just finished watching the Nintendo Direct of E3 2021, and it's starting to seem like E3 is just about Nintendo. Nintendo actually managed to win the entire thing, which is crazy because, honestly, this has been such a bad year for the Electronic Entertainment Expo. Square Enix completely sucked, Capcom basically fell into a volcano and got melted. The only other press conference that was even halfway decent to watch was Xbox, which was basically talking about the future of Microsoft and Bethesda. But this Nintendo Direct, it was insanity. This was 40 minutes long, and it felt like it was 2 hours, and it's because of just how much they managed to pack in there, from new reveals to big surprises to gameplay for something like Breath of the Wild. This was an expertly crafted and so well-paced Nintendo Direct. Now I want to talk specifically about the biggest reveals, the things that caught my attention, because there were actually just a couple announcements in this that are so freaking perfect, it feels like they were made just for me as a fan, and I'm so excited about it. Now, the only part of this that I didn't really care about, which I just want to get the negative out of the way, they always have to talk about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. They started this off with Ultimate. We're getting some Tekken DLC in Smash. Okay, that's great. Thankfully, this was only like 5 minutes of it. I was a little bit afraid that sometimes they just talk about Smash Ultimate and do like a 20-minute display of the characters' moves. Thankfully, this was very, very short and very, very sweet, and they just went straight into the biggest announcements, one of which was Metroid Dread. Now, there have been all sorts of leaks and legends about a 2D, more spooky style of Metroid being developed. One that's a side-scroller, but almost horror-based. It's where Samus is trying to evade this gigantic killer robot. And honestly, the gameplay seems so freaking good. Now, just to keep in mind, I am way more into the 2D Metroids because I love Fusion so much than I am the 3D Metroids. Prime is great, other M is whatever, but a 2D Metroid that's coming this year in October is pure freaking excitement. Now, the next thing they showed off was one that kind of caught me off guard because, honestly, I just didn't expect it, which was called Mario Party Superstars. Now, let's face facts. The last Mario Party game was not very good. It was called Super Mario Party, and the major criticism that a lot of people had wasn't that the quality was so low, it was that you couldn't play it on the internet. There were only these particular things you could do with friends when it wasn't like couch co-op. Well, Superstars is interesting because it's just a combination. It's actually just a grouping together of 100 different minigames from throughout the entire saga of Mario Party, all put into one package. So it seems like it's going to be everything from N64 to the GameCube era, which I love the most, and just all put together, and you can play these hundreds of mini games all together with people over the internet. Now, to me, that sounds like it's going to be really, really short and really, really sweet. They also showed off so many different remasters in this, just real quickly. Things like a new Super Monkey Ball collection, the fact that they're doing Life is Strange Remastered, Guardians of the Galaxy, okay, whatever, that's coming to Switch. But what definitely grabbed me is they're bringing back Advance Wars. Now, if you've never played this is actually one of my very favorite games that ever came to the Game Boy Advance. It is a strategy, turn-based, fantastic game. I actually have a customized Game Boy Advance, as you can see here, with a backlit screen, just so I can play this game. That is how much I love it. They are going to be bringing back Advance Wars 1 and 2 for a Nintendo Switch collection, which seems to have, well, the original character models, like the cool hand-drawn art, but also with better graphics for a lot of the visuals. But it's the full campaigns. This is so freaking hype. This honestly caught me just so off guard because I kind of assumed that nobody else is into these like turn-based strategy games anymore, but they decided to revive it. But speaking of revivals, the craziest reveal of like games being ported, they're bringing back Fatal Frame 5 Maiden of Blackwater, which again, I'm obsessed with horror. They're bringing back Fatal Frame, and a really good one. They're finally bringing it to Nintendo Switch. This is insane. Okay, let me talk about new games. I'm sorry, I'm not meaning to talk so much about all these random freaking remasters and ports, But that's part of what I love about the Switch, is the fact that it's games you love from these different eras being combined on a great handheld. Like, it's nuts to me that they're giving fans exactly what they want. But let's talk about some new games. Starting off with Super Mario Golf. They showed off a lot more gameplay of this, and it's fun to me because it looks like it's just so arcadey. It has these like really funny modes like Battle Golf, where you're actually trying to like compete to hit specific objectives all over the course. Speed Golf, where everybody is golfing simultaneously instead of in order, so you're just running up and smashing balls again and again. Mario Golf is one of those games that I'm probably not going to make like a review of, but it's going to be one of those games that I like sit around and play with my friends. Another one that I definitely am actually just super happy to play with my friends co-op is going to be Warioware Get It Together. Now, this is basically like Smooth Moves, which came out super long ago. These are like a series of very short challenges, things where you have to like hurry up and lick an envelope or shake your controller to like hurry up into, oh, someone's going to turn that into a GIF, like pop a bottle of wine or something. It's fun to me that there's just these weird little eclectic collections that are still coming out. But let's talk about the biggest thing. Let's talk about the Zelda stuff. Oh my god. Okay, so obviously this is the, 30th anniversary of Zelda. I'm even wearing my Zelda shirt. That was not an accident. I promise I put this on purpose. They're doing a collection for the Game & Watch. They're actually bringing back a couple different games and putting them on a tiny little handheld, including Link's Awakening, which I love a bunch, and also original Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. So that's pretty freaking cool that they're doing a separate handheld. But what really was my biggest hype, the biggest expectation I had, the only thing I actually wanted in this press conference was some gameplay for Breath of the Wild 2. Breath of the Wild 2 seems enormous. The biggest change is that somehow it looks like Hyrule's been shattered and half the islands are now floating and stuff. So there's like a castle in the sky, or things where you're having to actually fly around or even skydive off a particular section of the map and fly to a different part of the map. It looks like Breath of the Wild turned up to 11, which is exactly what it should be. I've talked in the past about there's sometimes that difficulty when you have a 10 out of 10 first game. How do you do a sequel? How do you increase the intensity? How do you make it more fun, more exciting, and honestly sometimes just fun in a confusing way? This looks like it's going to do that. They did say it's coming out in 2022, they hope, which makes me think that as much as they've got sections of Breath of the Wild 2 clearly complete, it's probably still in some of the earlier stages of it. It's one of those things that probably has a long time left in the oven. Now, this is, of course, just not at all a bad thing, because, after all, it just means that they're just taking their time to do this right. They also did announce that they're still working on Metroid Prime 4, but that's probably very, very, very far off in the distance. I'm glad we're getting Dread in the meantime, but some of these games are definitely just super, super far off. Kind of like they did show off some of Shin Megami Tensei 5. Now, I'm excited about Shin Megami Tensei. Now, this is actually part of the series originally that's connected to Persona. Like, Persona was originally a spin-off of this series. So you'll notice it has the same, kind of themes of angels and demons. You're capturing monsters and using this almost as, super messed up Pokemon. Shin Megami Tensei 5 looks great. It seems like it's incredibly top-notch. I'm definitely going to be playing it. And again, this is a Nintendo Switch exclusive. I kind of give them props for the fact that this press conference was just so centered on what makes the Switch great, including Monster Hunter Stories 2. We again saw more of it. Now, we saw some of this last night at the Capcom show, but this time around, I enjoyed just getting a chance to see the combat, see the characters, see more about this. I'm glad that Monster Hunter Stories 2 is coming so soon, because I am definitely ready to play it. Now, the final game I want to talk about is just that we saw another teaser for this Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I love Super Mario Galaxy, mostly because I like the weird idea of bouncing from planet to planet and something about a space adventure with characters that aren't typically in space. It's fun. It's fun and it's exciting. So I'm definitely down for this. But Sparks of Hope, it looks so freaking good. Now, I've already said this because I was talking about Advance Wars. I like turn-based strategy. I like having to actually outmaneuver your opponents, take them down, and sometimes just unleash some very powerful magic to decimate a boss. Sparks of Hope looks like exactly what I want. This was so good. I mean, it's hard to even try and put like a score on this because I feel like they did things so good. It was surprises. It was what fans wanted. It was new stuff. It was just bang, 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 bang. Right as I record this video, they're actually doing like a 3-hour freaking Nintendo Treehouse filled with tons of gameplay, and I'm kind of expecting to see even more of these great titles being shown off. I'm so excited for the future of the Switch, and hopefully the rumored Nintendo Switch Pro is shown soon, so we can all figure out how good these games are going to look on the future of the system. But what did you think? Did you have a chance to watch any of these E3 press conferences? Please go watch my previous ones. I did kind of poop all over a lot of the very bad announcements we had over the course of the last 72 hours. It has been nuts. Thanks to all the new subscribers, thanks to all the hype, thanks to everybody for all the likes. Alright, I'm going to go finish editing my Final Fantasy Origin video because that demo sucks, and take a very nice nap. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all, and keep dreaming. I'm definitely buying that Game & Watch. I'm definitely buying that Zelda Game & Watch. 100%. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.